The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili, together with the Georgian delegation, took part in the special meeting of the North Atlantic Council within the scope of the NATO Summit in Madrid. Besides the alliance's member states, the session's participants included the leaders of Finland, Sweden, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea, and senior EU officials. The meeting discussed some of the challenges facing the global security architecture and the security environment emerging in the Euro-Atlantic space, with emphasis on the need to further cooperation among NATO member and partner states in order to join forces toward helping maintain rules-based international order. The meeting also discussed the events unfolding in Ukraine. The importance of assisting Ukraine against the ongoing military aggression was also highlighted. The Prime Minister of Georgia spoke about the worsening security situation in the Black Sea region and Georgia's steps in light of these circumstances. The Prime Minister in his speech underlined the unprecedentedly high level of practical cooperation between Georgia and NATO over the past few years, also expressing hope that the country's progress in implementing reforms will have a positive impact on Georgia's path towards membership. Several important documents have been adopted at the Madrid Summit, including the new strategic concept of NATO 2030, the Madrid Summit Declaration, and the tailored support document for Georgia. Notably, all three documents contain issues of critical importance to Georgia. In particular, they reaffirmed the decision made at the Bucharest Summit on Georgia's eventual NATO membership, also reinforcing NATO's open door policy, Georgia's status as an aspirant country, and the alliance's unwavering support for Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The issue of Georgia is reflected in detail in the new strategic concept of NATO as well, the alliance's guideline document in the course of the next 10 years. Notably, the tailored support document for Georgia approved at the summit sets forth concrete measures for furthering Georgia's defense capabilities and enhancing NATO's effective engagement in this process. NATO leaders on Wednesday formally invited Finland and Sweden to join the alliance, one day after Turkey dropped its objections to their membership, clearing the way for what would be one of the most significant expansions of the alliance in decades. The historic deal following Turkey's agreement to a memorandum with the two Nordic countries underscores how the war in Ukraine has backfired for President Vladimir Putin, subverting Russian efforts to weaken NATO and pushing Sweden and Finland, which were neutral and non-aligned for decades, into the alliance's arms. After weeks of talks kept by an hours-long meeting in Madrid, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey agreed to lift his block on Sweden and Finland's membership in return for a set of actions and promises that they will act against terrorism and terrorist organizations. Vladimir Putin warned both countries against joining NATO, but his threats proved counterproductive. The two countries bring geostrategic benefits to the alliance. Finland shares an 830-mile border with Russia and has a well-equipped modern army. Sweden can control the entrance to the Baltic Sea, which will help a great deal in NATO planning to defend the more vulnerable countries in Eastern Europe. By the way, international officials and journalists were bemused to find Russian salad on the top of the in-house restaurant menu, awaiting world leaders in the high-security NATO summit venue on the outskirts of Madrid on Tuesday, as the main agenda is about Russia's attack on Ukraine. The melange of peas, potatoes, carrots, and mayonnaise is a staple on Spanish restaurant menus, but ahead of a summit at which Russia is expected to be labeled as a security threat in the alliance's new strategic concept over its invasion of Ukraine, its presence on the menu caused consternation. Russian salad at a NATO summit. I'm a little surprised by that choice of dish. Journalist Irakli Lopez was quoted telling Spanish media outlet La Sexta. The dish's attractively high carb content appeared to trump its questionable name, however, and it reportedly sold out within hours. More diplomatic thought was applied to the menu served to visiting defense and foreign ministers at the banquet at the Baroque Santa Cruz Palace in central Madrid on Tuesday evening. Jose Andres, the Spanish chef featured in the Netflix series Chef's Table, who coordinated the meal, served the classic tapa but added tomato dumplings and rechristened it Ukrainian salad, as he has done in his restaurants across Spain, international media reports.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.